In this video, we will talk about the generics in C#, but before we dive into this topic, let me show you real quick the actual stack class from the existing system collection generic namespace and how it works. I'll create an instance of a stack of integers. Then I will call the push operation 3 times and push values 10, 20 and 30. If I print out the contents of the stack in the console, we'll see that the number 30 is now first in the list. And this number will be the first one to leave the stack when we call the pop method. This data structure works on the last in, first out principle. And when we print out the contents of the stack again, then the number 30 is no longer there. Now let's try to write a similar class ourselves. I'll create a class called myStack. I'll first start with a non-generic way, but still support all the types somehow. So instead of defining an explicit type for the internal elements array, I'll just use the object type, and for the simplicity purpose, just use a fixed size array of 10 items. I also have to define the current position, which would be 0 by default. Then I will add a support for the push operation, so this one will be an expression body method, and I will initialize the element at the current position in the elements array with the passed-in value. I'll use the postfix increment operator on the current position to increase its value after the assignment. A pop method should be a bit simpler, and it should just use the prefix decrement operation on the current position and return the element at that position to the caller. This is a simplified version of the method, and it could throw an index out of range exception when calling the pop on an empty array or pushing more than 10 elements, so feel free to add these checks if you want. I'll also add a print method that will loop through the elements and print out its value. Now let's go back to the program.cs and replace the generic stack structure from the .NET and use our new myStack data structure. I'll change the type of the stack, use the new print method, and I have to cast a returned object to an int again. When I run this program, I get the same output as with the .NET generic stack class. But do we need the generics here at all? Yes, we do. This class doesn't support type checking, so I could end up adding different types to a stack if I'm not careful enough. For example, it would be completely valid to push a string to this stack as well. And maybe you can already guess what's gonna happen. This should fail at the pop operation during the casting to int, because a string cannot be casted to an int, and this line would throw an invalid cast operation exception. We could easily solve this problem by making the class myStack generic. To do so, we have to add a type parameter after the class name in the angle brackets, and replace the object type within the class implementation with this placeholder type t. Now in the main program, I have to add a type to the myStack declaration, so it's going to be an integer. And have a look, we get a compile time error at the place we are trying to push the string to an integer stack. Now when I comment this line out and run the program again, we get the same output as before, but this time our implementation supports type checking, and it can be used with many different types. We don't need an explicit cast of the removed element. I could also use the strings only and it would work similar. So that was it for this video. Thank you for watching.